Fells Point is an area. Some call it a neighborhood. I call it a state of mind. It is an area that for more than 200 years has been in a state of transition. It still doesn't know what it wants to be when it grows up. Got a mile of waterfront out here. Actually about a mile and a half. That is perhaps historically some of the most significant waterfront in North America in terms of the things that have been done here, the things that have been caused by the things that have been done here.
So we have this fantastic geography of our harbor kind of curling up into the bosom of our town, the intimacy of our waterfront from side to side, and kind of the idiosyncrasies of the curves of the waterfront makes it so much more fun and interesting than just about any other urban waterfront you can think of anywhere in the world.
I think that was one of the greatest influences on Fells Point and Baltimore itself, was that you had an area where people came in from all over the world, brought in different ideas and different values. So it was a very kinetic kind of environment in Fells Point.
I'm here for rocking and rolling and Quiet Riot and all the 80s bands that got left behind. That's what I'm here for. Keeping the scene alive. Keeping the scene alive. Let me hear something.
Baltimore was known for its mobs. That's why it was called Mob Town. During the War of 1812, Robert E. Lee's father was almost killed in the streets of Baltimore because he opposed the War of 1812. Edgar Allan Poe was probably a victim of another mob during the elections in the late 1840s. So Baltimore had always been known for its unruly behavior. A tradition that I like to think we kept alive in Fells Point.
We had the riots after the Martin Luther King assassination in, what, April '68, I guess. The city was down at the mouth. It seemed to be an accelerating white flight, middle-class white flight.
The portion of the harbor along Pratt Street that's now the Inner Harbor, you know, that wasn't developed, and there was no housing there when I came here in '68. It was just this vacant land and rotting wharves and piers. And so the only waterfront community in the city that existed in the late '60s was Fells Point.
The Fells Point that I remember in the mid-'70s to late '70s was the place where the Baltimore Renaissance started. It was at a time when Baltimore was kind of on the slide. The urban renaissance at the Inner Harbor hadn't quite started yet. And it kind of happened here first.
You know, this neighborhood is enjoying an extraordinary renaissance from one end to the other. Everybody's looking for property down here. The gentrification, I think, is actually a wonderful and healthy thing.
you've definitely got your, you know, artsy type of person who, yeah, definitely have the artsy, creative people. And then we have the extreme opposite too. We have the very conservative, button down kind of, which is kind of funny, but it all blends, it all works, which is kind of a neat thing. But yeah, I would say the overall feel, to me, for Fells Point, is that it's definitely an eclectic, kind of funky, fun, almost Soho kind of feel to it.
Fells Point is a village. I love it because it is a village. It's not a city. In Fells Point, you see people all the time, you know, on the street. You say hello. You say more than hello. You actually become friends with these people. And it's just such a warm, wonderful feeling.
Fells Point has a spirit and a soul and a life that is apart from every other neighborhood in Baltimore. It is a wonderful mixture of the sacred and the profane, and the funny and the sad, and it's a very rich place with very interesting people who come there for all kinds of reasons. When I got down there, it was home. It was home. I could wander those streets and I could feel at home.
Well, it's really what city life gives you, doesn't it? The opportunity to meet people in an informal way, casually every day, at a regular meeting place. That's a social construct that's very old. This is like an awakening to some people, that when you live far out in the suburbs, you have to drive every place, and you have to bring all your friends to a chain restaurant to have a friendly gathering, then it's foreign to them that you could just walk down the street, walk into a bar, and see three people. No one talks at first, and pretty soon they're all engaged in a conversation. You know, that's the old way of doing things. That's how people used to do it in coffee shops and inns, the corner taverns, and that's what you still have here.
The people are awesome. I can't tell you how awesome people have been to me with all that I've been through. When I was going through chemo, they totally supported me, worked in my store for me, fed me. They put together a fundraiser for me. We actually had about 200 people that came to this party, and 30 people shaved their heads for me, so that it was a it was a head shaving party for my birthday to raise money for my medical bills while I was going through the chemo. So yeah, it was amazing to see all these people, and they just it was overwhelming. It was the most awesome thing anyone's ever done for me.
The Latino community that's moved into Upper Fells Point is a really significant development, because not far away is Johns Hopkins up the road, where things are going like crazy with development, redevelopment, urban revitalization. And in between you have the Latino community that seems to be coming here and claiming, you know, they're part of this little dream here. And it's kind of a neat thing to see.